Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Ruth Obie, the creative director of Bezalel Fashion and Accessories, and also the lead tutor at BIFA Academy. That's Bezalel Fashion and Accessories Academy. Okay, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and subscribe so that when new tutorials drop, you're going to get a notification. Okay, so I'm going to be taking you on Keyhole cupped Bustier blazer, and this is it right here. This tutorial is packed with a lot of details. Okay, we have the keyhole here. This is the cupped Bustier. We have the notched lapel here, and then we have a lot of tutorials here that you learn from. This is a single Welt pocket. Let me take this in so you can see it. Yeah, this is a single Welt pocket right here. Okay, and then the tutorial is going to start with pattern drafting, cutting, sewing. Okay, so there are a lot of hidden sewing techniques packed up right here, okay, in this tutorial. So if you are yet to subscribe, hit the subscribe button and see you in class. Hi guys, okay, welcome to this class on how to draft the Keyhole cupped Bustier blazer, and I'm going to start off by completing the back. If you've taken my previous class or my previous blazer class, you know this was where we stopped, and then I'm just going to, okay, in the other class we did a shoulder dart, but this time around we're going to do a princess dart at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to measure 3 inches, and then I'm going to connect from the dart to that 3 inches I measured at the armhole. So after which I'm going to go ahead and draft the front part. Okay, so it means we are done with the back. So if you have not taken the previous blazer class, you can go ahead and take the class to understand the back. That is if you don't understand this back part. Okay, so now we're going to forge ahead to drafting the front. And for the front part, I'm going to start from the beginning, irrespective of whether you are an intermediate or an advanced student. Okay, so I'm still going to start from the beginning so you get to understand better. Okay, so I'm just using my measurement here, my chest line measurement, and then I'm just going to connect it like so. So you can calculate your own chest line. The chest line measurement is your bust divided by 6 plus 1 inches for ease, and another 1 inch for another 1.5 rather for the slope, the shoulder slope. Okay, so now I'm just going to mark my breast point, my under bust, and my waist length. So I'm doing all that at once. Okay, so I'm going to connect the lines of each point, of each of the points I have there. So after which I'm going to go ahead to start drafting, and this is just basic. No matter the design you want to make, no matter the style you want to make, this is just the process you will start with. Okay, so that's my chest line, that's my breast point, that's my under bust, and my waistline there. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to go ahead and mark out my neckline and my shoulder. So first, my shoulder is 15, but I didn't use the normal 15. I added ½ inch because it's a corporate, so I made it 18. So 18 divided by 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I just use these dotted lines or dashes to connect it to the chest line. So I'm going to mark 1.5 inch at that line, Then I'm going to create my neckline so I can connect that 1.5 to the tip of the neck at the shoulder. Okay, so my neck is 3.25 thereabout. Okay, so if you want to get your accurate neckline, you can divide your bust by 12. Whatever you get, that's your neck round. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect that point, okay, to the neck there, and connect it like so. And then to remove excesses at that neck, 1/2 inch was what I marked, so I'm going to connect it to that 1/2 inch, and that's my actual neckline. Okay, so let's finish with the armhole. So I'm going to take 3 inches upwards and then 1/2 inch inward, 3 inches from the chest line upwards, and then 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to use my straight rule, connect it to the tip of the shoulder there, after which I'm going to mark my bust. I'll mark my bust measurements on that chest line so I can connect the armhole to that line. Okay, of course, if you're a beginner, this is just how to draft a basic bodice. This is a full scale body block right now that we are drafting. Okay, we are drafting a full scale basic body pattern, and if you're not a beginner and this is your first time drafting pattern and you've not taken any of my courses before, this is how to draft a basic pattern. You can learn this, and trust me, you're going to thank me later for what you have learned. Okay, so that's my dart line. My dart line is the from my bust pan. My bust pan is 8, and I'm just going to create my dart legs at the waistline, and I'm using 0.75 on both sides. Okay, so I'll connect it to the apex there at the breast point. Okay, and then connect it to the down part. I actually went up by 3 inches, right, from the hip line there at the down. I went there. I went up by 3 inches. Okay, so we're done with the dart. I'm going to mark out. Our shoulder line for the dart, but we're not going to be doing we're not going to be using shoulder darts here because of the blazer we are drafting. We're only going to use it for our upper bust tightening, and you're going to see how we're going to do it. Okay, we have 50%, we have 25%, 75%, like, all right. So just place your tape and divide that shoulder by 2 to get that line. So I'm going to take 1/2 inch from that tip and connect it to tighten our over bust. I'll go up here by 1/2 inch also. Then I'll just go ahead and connect the line like so. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to go ahead and connect our shape and get our shape. Okay, so before I do that, I'm going to do a bust dart. The bust dart is your back half length minus your front half length. Your front half length minus the back half length, the difference between the two. Mine is about 3 inches. Okay, that's what I measured at the other side. Okay, that's my waistline and my back waistline. Okay, the difference in length between both the front and the back is what I'm using. Mine is 3 inches, so I'll just fold it up in this line That's, I just took a working line for the bust, from the bust measurement down. So I marked 3 inches divided by 2, and then marked half inch. Yes, that point is half inch out there, and then I'll just connect it to the bust, half inch away from the bust, or from the breast point. Okay, so connected it like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to mark the waist, my waist measurement. I'll measure it like this, and then just at the first dart leg, I'll hold it carefully and take it to the last dart leg, and then mark my waist. Or you can just put your exact waist plus 1.5, which is the half leg, which is our darts there. Okay, it will still give you the same thing. So I'll connect the line like this, and then our hip line there, my hip measurement is what I'm using here. You can also measure your upper hip where the blouse will stop, and then you can use that measurement at this point too. So you can see how I'm using my measuring, my drafting tool to connect my lines. Okay, so I'll take 1 inches away from there, and then I'll connect, just to give that place a good shape, to avoid pointy points when sewing. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do is to tighten our bust, under bust. Excuse me. To tighten our under bust, we're going to get our exact under bust circumference to do so. So whatever is left, you can see, whatever is left is what we're going to use to tighten our bust. What is there is about 1.25. so I'm going to remove half inch from this side towards the right hand side, towards the left rather, and then towards the right 0.75. okay, that's towards the center front. I'm removing half inch, and then towards the side, the side front, I'm removing this 0.75. so I'm going to connect to the points to the breast, towards the breast points, just half inch away. You might not take it to that very point. Okay, so I'll connect it to the waistline there, just do exactly what I'm doing, and then same thing, that's 0.5 inch measurement I took. I'm going to connect it also to the breast point, just half inch away, and then I'm going to bring it down to the waistline to connect it there at the dart. So we have our under bust tightening already. So now we are left with the over bust tightening. So let's go ahead and see how. All right, before we tighten the over bust, we are going to create a yoke line that is going to form our keyhole, and then this shoulder line, we're going to come in by 1.5 from the shoulder to create our keyhole. We're going to create this before we are going to tighten our over bust, that is our upper bust. So just watch how I'm going to draw the line. I'll stop somewhere here, and then I'm going to form something like a yoke to connect to that line. Now this is our keyhole lines that we're drafting now. Okay, so we still have a lot to do there, but it will just give us a guide, so we'll know that okay, this is what we are doing. So I want you to pay close attention at this point. Okay, so for our corset, I took half inch. This horizontal line is half inch before creating the yoke. Take note, half inch before creating the yoke. Okay, so our cupped corset is going to fall on that 1/2 inch now. So I'm going to use my curve, my armhole curve now, to create that cup, one of the cup piece from the under bust. Okay, right from the under bust line, I'll connect it to that 1/2 inch we took from the center. Remember, I went up by 1 inch at that center front before I took the 1/2 inch at that 1 inch, then did our yoke to form our keyhole. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to first of all create our lapel. Okay, I'm going to create our lapel before we continue. So I'm going to first of all measure our neckline from the back. I'll measure our neckline from the back, and then that is what I'm going to use to extend the lapel, the collar for that will connect to that neck at the back. Okay, so let me go ahead and measure it so you'll see. I'm going to measure it like this. I believe we did this in the other class, in the first part of this class. Okay, and then I'm just going to extend the line there. Remember, you are not extending from the tip of the neck. That's from this line. That's where we are going to be extending from. So I got 3.5 there, so I'll just mark 3.5 up there and then extend the neckline to that point. Okay, so just make sure that your drafting tool is at 90 degrees, the baseline touching the shoulder line, and then you extend it like that. Okay, then you just mark that point. So I'm using my red pen so as to differentiate our lines. Okay, so the width for the lapel this time around is going to be 2.5 inch. Okay, so I'm going to connect it to the under bust there, but we are going to pass it through. Okay, let's do the horizontal line at the top first, also at 90 degrees. Okay, that's 2.5 inch we are using for the width. So I'm going to extend this line by 1.5. Yes, I'm extending that's from the center front. Now I'm extending it so as to draft our lapel. Okay, so I'll just extend it down there. So I extend the line like this, and the neckline I'll also extend it to touch the vertical line. All right, so let's go ahead and connect this line now to the under bust, but it has to pass through that 1/2 inch so it won't affect our bust. So first of all, let me extend the under bust line to touch our extended line for the lapel. So now I'm going to draw the line. You can see it's passing through that 0.5 inch we drew earlier. You can see. Good. So let's continue. So now I'm going to connect the neck extended collar to the neck like this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and complete it. So this is our lapel. So at this point you can decide to leave it like this, or you can decide to do a notched lapel there. I'm going to show you how you notch this lapel. Okay, all right, so that's the point where the notching will come. Okay, so let's move on. So right away I'm going to go ahead and cut this line. Let's separate the back quickly while we work on our shoulder. Let's tighten our over bust now. Remember this line, we divided our shoulder into 2 to get this line, then we took 1/2 inch inward, right? So we are cutting this particular line that we divided our shoulder into two and drew. So you cut it to the breast point and stop right there, just very close to the breast point. Then we're going to fold this 1/2 inch line we drew earlier. So fold it like this. Okay, so now all this we're doing is going to help our cup to sit properly and to be tightened and to form very nice and to sit fine. Okay, so now we are going to close our bust dart. Now that we've opened the shoulder dart, we'll close the bust dart by the side here. Just watch carefully how I do that. Okay, so I'll just take my time to fold it accurately. Okay, so fold it like this. Make sure it's on the line. You are folding it on the line. So you can see that now that I've folded it, our shoulder has become wide. It's now very wide. It has now become very wide. So now when you do this, you're now going to decide if you're going to do 100% tightening or 50% tightening or 75, or you're going to do 25% tightening. Okay, so let me show you now. We are going to be doing 25% tightening for this class. Okay, so I'm just going to place my tape from this shoulder point here to the in between. I will place it. When you leave it open, that's 100. When you fold it like this, that's 50. Okay, now if you fold it again, that is 25. If you leave it like this, is 100. You fold it into 2 equal halves, that's 50%. If you fold it again, that's into 4 now, that's 25%. Okay, so that is it. So if you divide that place by 3, so that's what we are going to transfer now. Mark it on that shoulder line. Is about 1 point something. Okay, so you mark it on that shoulder line and then draw it to connect to the breast point. When you draw it like so, the next thing you want to do is to add it back. That measurement you are taking off, you're going to add it back at that shoulder line. Okay, so I'm going to add this 1.5 thereabout, 1.6 thereabout. I'm going to extend it here. Okay, so what you are using to tighten your over bust, you're still going to extend it. Even the 1/2 inch we took initially, I'm adding it and then I'm going to extend my line. So automatically we are going to be having a new armhole there. Okay, so I'm going to create my armhole right away. You can see how I'm placing my curve to get my armhole. I'm just going to connect it to the bust there. All right, so I'll connect it like this. Okay, so at this point I want you to pay close attention. Okay, this is the point. Even most videos I watched on YouTube, they got it very wrong, especially the keyhole part. They got it wrong. So now I'm going to have a new keyhole line. You know, we drew the line initially, so we are going to be drawing another line again for our keyhole, and then it's 1.5. so I'll draw it and then connect it back to that line we drew initially. So I'm connecting it back. So this line with the red pen is our new keyhole line. So now before I open my bust dart, I'm going to go ahead and blend that line. You see, the line is not equal, so I'm blending it to the waistline. Okay, so the next thing, we are going to draft our cup for the other side. From the under bust, you can take it to the armhole like this, towards the armhole, or to the tip of the armhole, whichever way. You can even decide to measure 1 inch from the side there, and then you can draw your line. Okay, so I'm just going to draw the line like this. Okay, so this is our cup. Yeah, that's our cup. Okay, all right, so let's move on. We are getting closer to the main purpose of this class, which is the keyhole. So now I'm going to close the shoulder dart. Now you know it's not going to close properly. We have to open this bust dart now, so that we can close the shoulder dart and complete our keyhole, and complete the drafting of our keyhole. Okay, so now this is what we have. Remember our line, right? The first line is our tightening line. Okay, so you can see I'm just going to hold that in place temporarily while we work on it. Okay, so I'm going to close this line. I'm going to blend it. You can see that it's no longer equal, so we're going to blend it to make it straight and equal there. Okay, so we have this. All right, so now we're going to just blend up our yoke line. I call it yoke line. That's where our keyhole will rest on. All right. All right, so I'm going to measure 1/2 inch upward vertically for the keyhole. We're going to be deducting that measurement. Okay, so I'm going to mark it like so. So if you want it bigger, you can make it bigger. You can, but this is just perfect based on the style we are drafting. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to create a little bit of a curve to reduce that sharp end there. Okay, so I'll just highlight that part so we'll know that, okay, this part is going off. Yes, there's going to be that hole there where we are going to be putting our key. All right, so that's the essence of that class. So this is why we are gathered here. Okay, so that area also is going, while the bust dart area will be closed. Would fold that part, so I'm not going to highlight that part. Okay, so this is it. Okay, this is a pattern for keyhole corset. Okay, so let me highlight the line that forms the keyhole. Okay, so now we are going to work on our cup. Is a 3 pieces cup from the style, so we're going to work on it. So I'm just taking 2 inches to create the upper part of our cup. So I'm just going to draw this line to create that part. Okay, so we have a smooth line there. Take note of this curve. So now I want to create our keyhole, so I just took that horizontal line down our neck. Then I'm going to place my curve at that point. Okay, and then I'm going to mark at 45 degrees to create our notch for our lapel. Take note of the line, and then I'll connect it at a point to where the lapel stop. So we are going to be cutting that notched part out. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut. I might not cut it out now, but I might cut it out later. Okay, the notch lapel part. So I want you to watch closely how I'm going to cut. Now we have not finished drafting or working on this pattern. There's still one or two things I'm going to do on this pattern. Okay, like you see, these are our keyhole area. This part that we are going to cut off, we are going to replace it. I'm just highlighting the part we are cutting off. We are going to replace it so that it will be complete, because this part is going to rest on the inner part. It's not going to be on its own. It's going to rest on it so that our keyhole will come out nice and relaxed. Okay, so that is the part. When we cut this part out, we are going to complete it. I'm going to add another paper to complete it. This is the actual part that I see that most fashion designers miss, even those on YouTube. So going to YouTube to even watch this tutorial, you're not doing yourself any good, because you might not get it. You're not going to see this part. Okay, so this is it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that part. I already have the paper down, but I'm still going to cut it off, and then you'll see how I'm going to cut it, just that portion. So I want you to pay close attention to how I'm cutting it. Okay, so we have to do it carefully. So let's go ahead and cut and cut. So this is where the hole is. We are taking this whole part off. Thank you for watching, guys. Check description for the link to the next video, or you can check our page to continue watching the video. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get notification whenever we post new videos. Thank you and bye.